It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
And my name is Mike.
And this week we're diving into the DCU with Green Lantern casting rumors and some more.
I feel like we're going to need to rebrand DC outside of DCU soon, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of actual DC news in this week, folks. We'll be bringing that to you. Minecraft drops the most surreal movie trailer I've ever seen.
Yeah, wild turn of my week.
Yes, absolutely. Did not have that on my bingo card for sure. Venom 3 buys a zoo, and that's the best I could do with that one because we're going to talk about some of the promo art we're getting from Venom 3 and how many creatures can we venomize in one movie. So, and more.
Yeah, it's funny that they've like found their unique selling proposition for that Venom movie of like, oh, people went freaking crazy over this horse. So let's throw it onto whatever we can. And I'm over here just like, okay, yeah, whatever works, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when you make a business and like the main item that you've invented or selling nobody cares about, but like, oh, somehow we made this other thing out of it, so let's sell this instead. I don't know. All I'm saying is Sony, they got to do what they can.
Yeah,
they're struggling.
Well, someone over there is just thinking like, well, what can we do that's different, right? The thing with Venom merchandise is it all looks the same. Is it Venom merchandise from 1991 or is it Venom merchandise for 2024? I don't know. It's all the same. It's black and white and a spider symbol. So I'm interested to see what this is and how many Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops will be carrying venomized frog lures going forward. But we'll talk about that later.
I'm imagining like a camo T-shirt with a screen print of like a venomized elk on it or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna get lots of those. But before we jump into the news, I want to thank everybody, but not apologize. I'm not apologizing. Let's get this straight. Thank everybody for pointing out that there are ads running in our show now, because even we did not know there were ads running in our show. We have for 9.5 years tried to get advertisements on our show, and then one day they just appeared. So sorry that we didn't tell you, but thank you for downloading and listening through it.
Yeah, I didn't realize because we serve the podcast through an RSS feed, and it's powered by like Podbean, right?
Yeah, so Podbean is our host. They store our audio files, and when we switched to them, we signed up for their auto advertising generation. So advertisers can go like, oh, this show matches what we're doing. They'll auto inject an ad into the audio feed for us, and we don't have to do any work on our end. We get some ads. We'll get some pennies maybe later this year, and you guys will have to suffer through a 15 or 30 second ad. But they didn't tell us they started doing this the past week, and I got some very concerned listeners reach out to me and say, you cut off mid-sentence. So I'm going to work with them to figure out better placements for our advertisements, probably in between subject changes rather than just in the middle of me talking. So I apologize. Yes, it was a surprise, but it caught us all off guard at the end of the day.
The best way for listeners to fix this problem is a two-step, one of two things. Do what I do with all of my podcasts and just hit the skip button, because I feel like all marketers and advertisers have come to the conclusion that their spots need to be exactly in increments of 15 seconds, which is exactly what my Spotify skips. So I usually do like 2 skips. Okay, it's not a 30-second ad. Let's do 2 more skips. Okay, it's not a 1-minute ad. And then I just do that until I hear my my normal people come back in the podcast. So yeah. I welcome all of you to do that, because I think everyone does that anyway. Or number 2 is if you happen to work within an organization that sponsors content, you could just come to us directly and sponsor the show. Yeah. And we'll turn that little thing off in Podbean, and you can be exclusive sponsors of Superhero Slate.
Or if anyone is interested, we could turn on subscriptions for like $1 not to listen to the ads. I don't care. Whatever falls out of your pocket that you wouldn't miss, we'll gladly take. Believe us. We're not dying over here, but I think it'd be fun to have those. But anyway, so I apologize that you might hear them. You might even interrupt my sentence right now. I don't know. But you may have heard of that several hours before you got here, but that will be happening through that as we we're not in this for the advertising. But the other way, I would say, Mike, the other way to do it, if you want very, I guess, ads that you're going to know are coming, you can also go to YouTube, because we don't have the audio. We upload that directly, so you'll just get regular YouTube ads.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Or if you have like YouTube like Premium or something, probably sail right past that.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for everyone who reached out on that. It is now known to us, not a glitch in our system, because I listened to our show back probably 20 times trying to figure out where I don't know if I maybe, sometimes Mike and I will watch a video live while we're doing this, right? And I'm like, well, the audio is not coming through my headset. Hopefully, Mike, same thing. So I'm like, well, maybe it was one of those deals, but it wasn't. So we're all good to go. All right, well, let's jump into the news. First things first, Mike, Minecraft. We talked about this at the top of the show here. I've never played Minecraft before. Have you ever played the game Minecraft before?
Yeah, I have, but it's been such early days when I've played it that I'm so out of my depth with everything they've added to the game. I think I kind of stopped playing maybe a version or two before they started adding things like magic, where you could like craft like a spell book and stuff like that. And I feel like that was years ago. So I do understand the core concepts of Minecraft. So at least I'm kind of primed, for the whole concept.
Yeah, Minecraft, I get it. I know what it is. I've just never experienced it myself. The closest I've come is Lego Fortnite, which is essentially the same thing, right? It is Minecraft in Fortnite with Legos. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You have to punch the trees to get the wood. You get the wood to build whatever you need. So obviously a property this huge that is still active to this day. Going to get a movie made out of it. With the popular, I think everything, has gotten a video game movie. Sonic, we've talked about it. Mario. What other video game movies have come out recently?
Well, we got Detective Pikachu. That's out there in the world.
And also on the opposite, Borderlands, right? Which is not good. So Microsoft has licensed out Minecraft to be made, and they've tagged on two of the biggest names people would glom onto, especially kids, young adults, Jason Momoa and Jack Black. And Jack Black, for being a Minecraft character named Steve, who is a blocky character from my recollection in this, he just looks like he showed up one day on set and said, "I'm Steve now, and this is what I'm wearing." And I'm like, cool.
Honestly, this is probably the biggest detractor for me from this trailer. I was actually pretty surprised that the reception online was like fairly negative.
Yeah.
But I guess people have opinions about Minecraft.
People who are watching this movie are not the people who are commenting online. I'll tell you that right now. But
like Jack Black is a very online guy. So if you ever just want to see what Jack Black just looks like around the house or just casually, he's got videos out there. He's on social media. Like a casual Jack Black is very easy to find on the internet. And this just looks like casual Jack Black.
Yeah.
Like he's had this kind of very specific beard for a while. So it does literally look like he just walked on set. And like Steve, the character in the video game, is like just a very low poly blocky character. And I think there's like some sort of like embellishment around the collar that makes it kind of look like a V, like kind of like a pseudo V-neck. So they kind of translated that to Jack Black slightly, but like it just looks like a blue t-shirt. And then you pair that with the visual kind of distance between live action characters in this Minecraft world. It looks like whenever I see people doing like VR streams, right? Where they put themselves in a green room and they put on the headset and then you can kind of see the virtual world that they in. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like somebody's like got a really nice Twitch setup here. So I think that's kind of the thing that's maybe jarring a lot of people. But like, man, do I just not really care a lot about this movie even before I saw this trailer? So it's really hard for me to like, stand on a soapbox.
I can't pick it apart because I know it's not for me. As I said, I've not played Minecraft. I have no dog in this fight. I have no blocks in this fight, if you will. But I will say the I guess realism they've given to the obviously the very recognizable blocky Minecraft world, right? The sheep, the pink sheep, the llama, the everything else is kind of got like a next gen feel to it, if you will, like a video game upgrade would have. And I really I like it. It feels like this, as you mentioned, you said Detective Pikachu. This feels like Detective Pikachu graphics, like the Pokemon and stuff had this type of graphics around the humans around them,
Yeah.
and they interacted. Now we're just seeing a trailer. I didn't even know this movie was filmed or like even moved along this well, so I'd like to see some more later. But Jason Momoa in a pink jacket has me thrown for a little bit as well. Nothing against it, cool for him, but I didn't know what to expect out of him being there. Is this like a Jumanji version where like that's not his real life version of him?
Well, there's a synopsis floating around. I couldn't tell you if it's official or not. It was just read to me through a video that I came across of he's supposed to be a failed 80s arcade owner or something like that. So I don't really know. So I think that kind of explains the his aesthetic overall. And they're supposed to be like these like glowing blocks that send these people into the Minecraft world. But Jack Black's character has had free range of movement in between the Minecraft world and the real world. So he's going to kind of be their kind of like shepherd through this environment, so he can kind of catch everybody up to speed on the world of Minecraft. I mean, I think the first thing I sent to you after I watched this trailer, and this is not a good thing, is this just feels like an Illumination movie, which is just, I feel like we're getting like we're going to get the lowest common denominator of like jokes like we got in the Mario movie. You know, it could be visually pleasing, right? Because that's a totally different team that's running those rendering engines. They have nothing to do with the story team, right? So I do not have high hopes. But I can watch this trailer, and I wouldn't be surprised if it made $1 billion, you know?
So, Jack Black obviously was Bowser in Mario as well. So he is no stranger to video game characters. He's just playing the other way this round. I think, to me, it gives me, I'll say two things. Number one, this is Tron for kids. People going into the video game world. You mentioned a dude coming back and forth between the real world and video game world, right? Like, this is Tron, but for children, which fine, works out for me. No sweat off my back. But I do enjoy the Minecraft references where they take two items, throw them on the workbench, and it just becomes the other item, right? Like, there's no magic to it. It's like whenever you combine things in your inventory to the workbench, they just become that new item. And I was like, oh, okay, they're really playing on the tropes of this game that I don't know much. I know a little bit about, but not everything about it. So obviously, I'm excited to see the reaction when it comes out. I think next year. The other name I kept saying, I did not see her in the trailer or here, but Jennifer Coolidge is in this as well, Mike. And she's got such a very distinct voice when she talks, right? Like very, her cadence and everything. I didn't see her in this, so I'm interested to see what role she plays, whether that's in the real world or is she some sort of Minecraft, voicing some sort of Minecraft character in the overworld. I don't know yet. So, I obviously not probably again not for us, but I'm excited to see this. I got nothing to lose by watching it. So, we'll keep. Oh, Jack Black was also Claptrap in Borderlands. That was the other one I was thinking of. I'm like, man, Jack Black is in like every video game movie lately. So good and bad across the board there. All right, now let's get into some superhero movie news, and that is with Green Lantern, the upcoming Green Lantern movie. We've talked about having a Hal Jordan and a John Stewart. So the biggest rumor this week is that Josh Brolin is being eyed to take the lead as Hal Jordan in this upcoming. I put series. I think it's a movie. But he's supposed to be like, they're looking for Hal Jordan to be an older, gruff, experienced space cop, if you will, as opposed to a younger, more reckless John Stewart character. So I would say like opposite of a Lethal Weapon, right, kind of thing, but in space.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds cool. I would imagine Josh Brolin and James Gunn, I'm sure they've met before because Brolin was in Guardians 2 technically, right?
2.
Or was it 1?
It was 1 because that's the first movie that Josh Brolin was Thanos, and that's where what's his name, oh my gosh, the blue dude, killed
Ronan.
Ronan killed his buddy. That was the first Guardians movie.
Yeah, so that makes sense. And it seems like Brolin's probably, for the most part, done with the Avengers universe. I mean, I could see Thanos maybe popping up for a second in Secret Wars, because it seems like everyone's going to get their time, their 15 minutes of fame again in the front of that camera. But yeah, I guess move on to the next studio. Line those pockets, buddy.
Well, he's already been DC. If you remember Jonah Hex from the mid 2000s, late 2000s.
Oh, why do I think that was Hugh Jackman? Did
That was Van Helsing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's
that was-
right.
but yeah, no, Josh Brolin before he was a big name. He was in actually opposite of the second Magneto actor. Boy, I'm having the day with names. Who
Michael Fassbender?
Michael Fassbender was in that one as well. So obviously they went on to become bigger, better things. Josh Brolin also Cable in Deadpool 2 did not return for Deadpool 3. So he has, to me, I think Josh Brolin can have his pick of anything he wants to do, right? He's either working out, he's super buff, he's going to be a grizzled old space cop. He's in both Dune movies, right? So he can take what he wants.
Yeah, well, this is a good sign that if we're looking for like a Hal, no, a John Stewart. John Stewart will be the younger one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I get my Green Lanterns confused often.
It's okay. There's already one in
mean,
Superman, Guy Gardner,
Yeah.
the red haired bowl cut guy.
Yeah, it means we're looking for a younger one for sure. Wait, isn't Nathan Fillion playing a Lantern too?
That's Guy Gardner. That is the
okay.
the Guy Gardner. Green
Gotcha.
Lantern.
Okay. So I guess young 20-somethings actors out there, well, we're keeping an eye on you because there's a chance that you could be a Green Lantern too.
Yeah. What's Jonathan Majors is available? I hear his schedule's wide open.
Oh no,
I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. They'll get Bo DeMayo. He'll go from writing now.
Oh, is he gonna go from screen?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. It's a joke. I joke. But yeah, I think this is great. I think even if it's not Josh Brolin, I think the idea of how the DCU heroes exist. They've been around forever. We're not learning the origin of Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, which we saw with Ryan Reynolds already in 2000s. We don't need to see that. We can just pick it up and go with it, and they're training another one on Earth. And if they can be science fiction, they don't have to spend all their time on Earth. I think that's even better, right? Because Green Lanterns are a cosmic, universal police force, if you will. And I would love to see that get on screen. The Green Lanterns are like, when I think DC, they're my favorite of that, simply because the different lanterns, the different colors. Maybe they'll already have some of those built in there, and kind of work on that. So yeah, if we get some casting, we'll hit this. I think this would be if to me, Mike, and then you tell me from, because we've done Superman, we've already done Supergirl, we're doing Batman again, we're doing Joker coming up. Green Lantern would be a good new character to pivot off, right? Because James Gunn feels like he's stepping in characters we've already done recently in recent history. So by going Green Lantern, we would be able to kick off on some new characters.
Yeah,
fresh.
it's the biggest competitive advantage DC has right now. Of Marvel, for the most part, has mined all of their A and I would say mostly B list characters to pretty appropriate, success, right? Whether it was through the Fox universe or Marvel universe, and they're gonna go around again with the X-Men, and I guess we'll get something new and fresh with that, hopefully. But yeah, DC, like you're talking like Green Lantern. We have OG Justice League members that have not gotten like good movies yet, so they have so much to play with.
Yeah, a lot of opportunity to do that without rehashing stuff that was in the Snyderverse. And I know Swamp Thing's coming up, right? So they've got some stuff in there as well. But yeah, if we get any more information on Green Lanterns, we'll be able to pass that along on the show. Speaking of James Gunn and his DCU Superman, a recent I guess scooper, Daniel Richtman, has described the tone of Superman, James Gunn Superman, as the exact opposite of Man of Steel, and I quote, a complete shift to hardcore sci-fi and fantasy instead of whatever Zack Snyder, whatever, I don't know what genre you fall Zack Snyder's under. It was very fantasy and sci-fi, but I think maybe like darker, like a I guess a realism. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at just Superman's costume, like there's so much like little bit of details in those like spandex. They have those macro shots back when they were announcing those movies. Of course, like the black suit when that was going around the internet. So many hyper zoom in on those details, and this Superman is just like, no, it's just like cloth. He's wearing a normal suit, which I like this direction. And also I mean, everyone's talked about this, right? This is the main line difference between DC and Marvel. Like Marvel is very much rooted in science for like the Earth-based heroes, right? And the Earth-based heroes are the most relatable ones. I mean, obviously you have like characters like Thor that are technically gods and are kind of breaking this realistic factor, but the MCU and a lot of Marvel comics are grounded in realism. And DC has always been like aliens, fantasy, magic. I mean, their character Superman is an alien who's number one, or I guess number two past kryptonite weakness is literally magic. Yeah. So it's just like you're operating in a totally different world, you know.
Yeah, he couldn't see through wood doors at one point, I believe, as well. But the idea is, Marvel was the comics even like the world outside your door, right? That the world outside your window. DC's but more like, hey, these are ideals, hope, and justice and stuff like that. So absolutely, I don't think this is a problem. I think it's good to have contrast versus what came before. No matter what you feel, if you're a fan of Zack Snyder's work and you like it or not, the just to do it again and again is not very fun. And that's why, while Matt Reeves had a good Batman, I'm tired of everyone doing Christopher Nolan's Batman over and over again, because I'm like, get into something different for us. Like, we don't need to have the most gritty, realistic Batman we've ever seen before. I miss the days of Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah, and if Batman stays hyper realistic, there's just villains that are off the table. Yeah, there's just iconic villains that you cannot do in a realistic world of Batman.
Right. Yeah, exactly, including Poison Ivy, right? Someone who's seen a lot of success on the Harley Quinn show. Clayface, I think, always comes to mind. So, I'd love to see this hardcore sci-fi and fantasy world. And also, Richtman goes on to say it's set in a world very different from ours and far removed from the DCEU. Heroes have been around for ages, and we'll see how it affected this world's history and has shaped the DCU. And I think that goes back to what I was saying about Green Lantern. We don't need to see the origin story. We don't need to see day one, which for Marvel, they've always said was Iron Man, but they've opened that window up a little bit more with Captain Marvel in the 90s and stuff farther back, World War II for Captain America. So, like, it's good to see, hey, we're coming into this world at a certain time. These have happened in the past. Things are happening in the future. And as I went on to say, there could be multiple stories across multiple storylines. Wonder Woman, I know we saw what her first movie was like World War I, but she's thousands of years old. We could go back even farther if we needed to. So it's more like Star Wars, because there's one universe, and we start in the middle, we branch out, more than MCU, which is like always progressing forward down the line.
To me, it seems like, it's this universe full of heroes, but Superman is the catalyst that we're coming into it with the audience, right? Yeah. Kind of not totally unlike Watchmen, right? Watchmen had all of these, like, I guess superheroes, like just heroes that existed in the Watchmen universe. And then all of a sudden you have like a literally superpowered hero, Dr. Manhattan, come in and just really upend everything in their world. So maybe that's kind of what we're talking about here. You have this godlike character of Superman arrive on the scene, who has this very truth, justice in the American way, type of ideal, and he starts to shake things up, and I feel like that's a good entry point.
And from what we've seen, it looks like it's the DC is more corporate run, right? The industries by the superheroes, the suits, the authority, a different set. So I'm excited to dive in and see what James Gunn has built and how it is in fact different from everything around it, because difference, whether it's good or bad, is at least a swing, right? We always talk about someone taking a swing, whether they miss or not, that's different. But I'd rather someone take a big swing than just like bunt the ball and not really make any waves at the end of the day. Moving on, we got an image, our first image of the show here, and that's with actress Millie Alcock at the U.S. Open. Presumably, I've heard that the movie will begin filming soon, and that her appearances could indicate her style. She's got the bleach white hair, which we've always seen her as like I think it was in Game of Thrones, or I guess House of Dragons, like more of a strawberry blonde hair. But this seems to be more of the bright bleach blonde hair that we've seen from the comic books of Supergirl, right, where she is very, very bright blonde, if you will.
Yeah, I mean the story here really is tennis is so popular recently. Yeah. I feel like I've seen so many tennis headlines of either people watching tennis matches, people participating in tennis matches. So I don't know what's going on with tennis, but if you're a celebrity, apparently that's where you need to be.
Well, what if you think pickleball become an official U.S. sport soon enough?
Hey, maybe.
Yeah, I like pickles. So you had me at pickles. You lost me at sports, but had me at pickle. So we're going to give you a synopsis for the Supergirl movie. This is a brief one. She travels across the galaxy to celebrate her 21st birthday with Crypto, the super dog. Along the way, she meets a young woman named Ruthie and winds up being on a murderous quest for revenge. So if she's going on a murderous quest for revenge, I'm excited for this. If she just happens to be stopping someone's murderous quest for revenge, I guess that's fine too. But very, very interesting to know that she'll be traveling with Crypto as well, right? We know that they'll probably appear in the upcoming Superman movie. And the biggest rumor is, of course, the reason that she would look like this is that she is rumored to report film scenes for the Superman movie. Going along with the thing we just said about Superman. The world has existed. People have been around. Superman's there. Supergirl's probably been around as well. So, we're not seeing her origin. We're seeing her literally age into being 21 and going across the intergalactic journey. So this sounds cool to me, Mike, to go out in space and see different worlds, right? What does the DC space world or space universe look like? And what's it full of?
Yeah. We know Gunn likes space. So I'd like to see his unique twist. He's got to do something different, right? He can't just pull kind of some of the same tropes he's done from Marvel. So I hope he's kind of got like a fun new way.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, he likes to refer back to the Ravagers and Nowhere, right? Like those are his big go-tos. I would like to see something maybe more akin to like a Star Wars, right? Like there's some planets that are just like, it's like a bar on a planet kind of thing. Like, we come here and get contracts and move on, like bounty hunter style stuff. We have also talked about the rumor previously that Lobo is the villain in this, right? The space bounty hunter, presumably played by Jason Momoa. We'll see if that's true or not. So I think, going out and finding the scum and villainy in the universe would be cool. And then also, if they cross paths with some Green Lanterns out there, Mike, that would make sense, wouldn't it? A lot of cross-pollination in the DC universe here, if they play the cards right. Moving on to, it's more Superman news, really, but we're going to talk about Peacemaker. Is that Lex Luthor actor Nicholas Hoult from Superman, making his debut in Superman, has filmed a few scenes for Peacemaker Season 2 as Lex Luthor. And
so
that's cool.
is that a sign that Gunn is trying to soft pivot Peacemaker into his proper universe, right? I guess we can kind of just hand wave away the cameos in that last episode of season 1. What was it? Was it Aquaman and the Flash?
Yeah,
or was it?
Yeah, the only two people who returned. Well, Wonder Woman returned for movie cameos, but those two will do the other ones. And absolutely, they could. I think it's going to be. We've talked about the from James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. There's the Rick Flag Sr. debuting in Creature Commandos. Then he'll be in Superman, probably making another appearance in Peacemaker Season 2, because obviously Peacemaker killed Rick Flag Jr. in the Suicide Squad. So this seems to be, some smaller threads. But yeah, absolutely. I think, like you said, a soft reboot, if you will. Hey, some things they'll maintain, some things won't as they move forward a little bit. It's a gamble, but, I think people will be forgiving. I've not revisited Peacemaker Season 1, and I don't think I will before I go into Season 2, but I'll skip bullet points here. The next bullet point is that James Gunn confirmed that Peacemaker Season 2 will debut after Superman hits theaters. So we're looking at next fall to winter, or this. So it looks like as to your point again, Creature Commandos soft launch, Superman hard launch, Peacemaker Season 2 first real live action show, right, set in this world, and see how the I guess the ripples, the information we've shared thus far in the episode kind of carry into that. And for those who are big fans of costumes or history of Peacemaker, James Gunn also shared earlier this week the first comic appearance of Peacemaker, aka Christopher Smith, from 1966. So you get to see the first panel of Peacemaker in the outfit that he's still literally wearing today, right? Like the 66 outfit looks like the one we saw on the TV show, followed by a very nondescript helmet worn by John Cena in the upcoming show as well. The back of it, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really pull any details from this other than, it's literally the back of a Peacemaker helmet, I guess. It doesn't have the wide wings.
Yeah.
As
They're going less shiny. I mean, there was that really cool shot in the Suicide Squad. It was like a tracking shot, I think, around his shiny helmet, and while I think it was Rick Flag and Peacemaker were like fighting to the death or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a fun shot, but they're also probably like, it's really hard to film this incredibly reflective helmet. Let's just make it matte, and it's going to make our VFX team so much happier.
Yeah, they can add whatever they want rather than remove things and then re-add it in that. But yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for this to return. Obviously, interested to hear what the intro song and dance number will be this time around. Moving on, our last DC point creature, Commandos. The series has confirmed a release date of December 5th this year on Max from James Gunn himself. You get to see a little, I guess, is that what's it called? Is it halftone or print? On the top and bottom. Looks like a comic panel. Rick Flag Sr. in with the Commandos in a, looks like a jet. They're about to jump out and probably do some stuff for Amanda Waller. We see at the bottom there. And then the other guy, I don't remember his name, from Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, but he was the guy in the chair.
The guy in the chair, the bureaucrat or whatever.
Yeah, he was also at the end of Shazam 2 with
oh yeah, that's right.
For that brief cameo there. But yeah, it looks I'd like to see. I know they shown some shows of some stuff in action. I'm excited to watch this. I'm interested to see what it does, because we know this. We say this all the time. In animation, you can go all out, right? You can do a lot of different things in animation and show different stuff. And these characters will be very hard to do in real life, right? Especially the glowing green skeleton man.
Yeah. But we've kind of been promised that we are going to see at least some of these characters in live action. So I hope we do get to see that one day. Two
of them at least. We've seen Weasel already. We'll see Rick Flag Sr. But I agree, absolutely. I hope we do see them in live action. But I'm excited to see how wild does James Gunn get in animation, right? Like, this is his show. He wrote it. He's has worked on it pretty profusely. I want to see what he does in animation, because we've seen it in movies, we've seen it in television shows. So this is the third foray into a different format, if you will. So I'm excited to see what he does and what stories he tells with it, and see I guess our first preview of the DC universe proper along the way. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. I forgot also, James got here. He describes the DCU as Superman is the true start of everything. It's a humongous epic. And for Creature Commandos, this is a way for people to just take a little nibble and see what it tastes like. So,
all right.
Yeah, this is, I guess, what do you call your appetizer before your meal, Mike? Your soup or salad? Which one are you going to have? I say both. Get a super salad. It's a superhero reference. Okay, shifting gears. Let's talk about some Marvel stuff for a little bit. I should have brought the other DC. Well, we'll talk Joker at the end. We have Joker stuff at the end. So if you're waiting for that, stick around. Or use the time codes. But Blade, the movie. The rumor is that Disney will decide if the upcoming Blade and Armor Wars. God, I put too many S's in there. Films will be still be on the docket in the upcoming weeks after the quality over quantity mandate last year. And
I mean, if I had to be a betting man, and let's say they were going head to head and not both on the chopping block, which we don't really know, I would say Blade has a better chance of moving forward, even despite all of the production delays, than Armor Wars, because it just seems like there's more of an appetite for a Blade movie than just kind of like War Machine's solo gig, which I'm not saying it couldn't be good, but I mean, when anyone sits down and chats MCU and their favorite moments of all time, nobody's talking about War Machine, even though we do like Don Cheadle, Emmy-nominated Don Cheadle for his amazing performance in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
No,
right?
I will give for Don Cheadle stepping in and taking a role of Rhodey in Iron Man 2 and running forward. He has. I think he's just a team player. I think he is a guy who, if Marvel says we need you for something, he's like, I'll do it. I'll be there. Because
know what you.
Go ahead.
You bring up a really good point, though, of like the kind of political side of things, where maybe I'm undervaluing the drama behind the production of the Blade movie. And it seems like Kevin Feige is not the type of person that likes to deal with these type of like interpersonal delays. He wants a script, he wants it done, and he wants to start shooting. I don't think he likes all this back and forth.
Yeah. So I to me, Yeah, Don, he showed up for, like you mentioned, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He showed up for the even worse Secret Invasion, Mike. He has just been getting the kicks the past couple years in Marvel. So I think if I was to say, Don, you've been a great person. We're gonna go with your movie because you stuck with us through thick and thin. With that situation. Mahershala, sorry for the delays. Wesley Snipes' Blade is trending because of Deadpool. We gotta go back with Wesley. We're gonna use him in Secret Wars instead. But delays, like you mentioned, delays have struck both projects. Armor Wars was originally a series and it's now a movie. It's supposed to have ties to Ironheart, which isn't even out yet. But the biggest thing I saw in the trades from this is that the blowback from canceling 2 movies with black leads, Mike, because there are no other movies that I can think of currently coming out that have African American people at the front of their films. So if you cancel both of them, what
yeah, that's a good point.
Obviously you've promised the world, the audiences. I don't think that that is the strongest thing out there. I don't think that's going to make or break a good story, but we don't even have Black Panther 3 on the docket yet, right? Like, when's that coming? And then also
I'll put it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'll put it this way. We only need a Blade movie right now if they have a supernatural plan.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a plan for what goes bump in the night in the MCU, and they have like a roadmap of what they want to do with it, then give me a Blade movie. If they have no idea how they want to execute that yet, don't give me a Blade movie, because Blade goes up against very specific types of villains. He's not just going to be out there like fighting, like, I don't know, like an Ultron type of robot in the future, right? He needs to fight vampires and, monsters and things like that. So if you don't have that plan, go Armor Wars, because very easy to whip up an antagonist for Armor Wars. Bring Justin Hammer back in,
right.
Any other like military complex. It's so many things that you could do with that. Blade has to come at some point in time, right? Yeah. So maybe they just have to put it on the back burner.
Right. Yeah. Well, 2 things. Number one, you're right. I think they're in a post Tony Stark world hasn't really been touched on yet. Like, what is that technology war machine? Not war machine as in Rose, but like the war machine in the world look like post Stark Industries, right? Without Tony Stark in the world, what does that look like? I think Armor Wars would be great to touch on that and kind of get that under control, wrap it up, say, all right, this is done. We can now move on from the Tony Stark legacy. But the popularity of Man-Thing and Werewolf by Night, showed that there is an appetite for supernatural stuff in the MCU if done properly. So I think both are valid options, but if you have to choose quantity, it's tough. To me, I'd take Armor Wars if I'd take of the 2 right now, because I'm like, I see where Armor Wars would fit in and how it could wrap up a bunch of stuff, and then Blade would be a new point moving forward, right, kind of thing. So that's where I would put them. And also, I just want to put this out here: they're not going to bring Wesley Snipes back as Blade. Like, Mahershala Ali's not going to drop out and they're like, all right, Wesley, come back in. We're going to choose you for the next Blade trilogy. I think he had his cameo. He wrapped up his story pretty well, and we all had a good time. So I don't think he's coming back in this. On the interesting point of Armor Wars, Don Cheadle was asked this week, I believe it was on Good Morning America, even by Al Roker himself. He's like, hey, what's the status on Armor Wars? And Don Cheadle says one of those lines like, if I told you I'd have to kill you, and laughed, wink, wink, kind of thing. So it indicates he knows something. And I would say probably a good sign, right, if it's that note.
And if I remember correctly, Good Morning America is an ABC Disney own channel, so like they're not just gonna let Al Roker ask that question, without being
Al Roker
cleared.
Doesn't
so
know
maybe
what Armor Wars is. He doesn't know what that is. Like, this feels like a specifically propped question, right, kind of thing towards him.
Yeah, maybe this is like a strategic, like studio-led question. Let's just get this out in the world and shake the trees, see if people are excited for Armor Wars or not. If they are, we'll make the movie. If not, we'll dump it.
Yeah.
We'll let it all hang on Al Roker's shoulders.
That's right. Yeah. Tell us the weather and what's your favorite Armor Wars scene, Don or Al? And he's like, I don't know at all. But yeah, so that's some news I didn't think we get this week. I think it's interesting. I would like to get some updates, but obviously we know Secret Wars is coming. We'll talk about Secret Wars here in a second. We're going to see Fantastic Four. We've got Doomsday. We've got a lot of good stuff in the works. So those two I don't think I have to have those two before I have these other ones along the way. But speaking of Secret Wars, I got some news here. One I've written down and one I haven't written down. So start first and foremost. Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards is rumored to be like a Rocket from Infinity War Endgame in Secret Wars, right? Someone who is around helping everybody.
Like a rock. What does that even mean?
Rocket Raccoon.
A rocket.
Rocket Raccoon. His name is Rocket.
Okay.
They don't call him Rocket Raccoon, and his name is just Rocket. So obviously, but like, you know how he was like in Infinity War, he went with Thor and them to make the hammer. They're making the weapon to defeat Thanos, kind of thing. And then obviously he survived the snap, and in the back half he was with everybody. You know, where did he go back to? Which timeline did he go back to? I forget which one he went back to. Oh no, do you remember? And then which stone did he come back with? I don't remember which stone he came back with. But anyway, like he's the idea man pushing things forward. Obviously, Tony Stark had some ideas, Hulk had some ideas, but Rocket was really pushing Thor to get there.
It was the red one. It was
Reality Stone. He went with Thor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He went with Thor.
Oh yeah. Okay. So obviously they team up with Thor again. That makes sense. So, I think that's fine. I don't think, you know, after one movie, Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, and diving him into Doomsday or Secret Wars and making him the main character would be smart.
Pedro Pascal is one of the most famous people in Hollywood right now. You put his face wherever it can go, right? You slot him in wherever you can. You're getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
You want him on the poster, front and center. Mm-hmm. So I'm not shocked that this character is going to be around in other places.
Yeah, absolutely. Make him as stretchy as you can get him. Let's have some fun stretching with him. Make him do some funny stuff. And then the other part about Secret Wars, and this is, I'm not writing this down because it's obviously a rumor from Scooper. I think it was the Daniel Richtman show. Is that that there are a lot of pieces in the upcoming films that will tie them into Doomsday faster than we kind of originally thought they would. So it's like, you know, how do we get them all to Doomsday? How do we get them to Secret Wars? Apparently some of these movies will have some pretty straight line shots, line of sight to those films coming up here. And I don't know what those are. Didn't have details, but
we kind of just discussed it before, that if at Comic-Con they are just straight up telling us who's under the Doctor Doom mask already, it probably means it's coming soon, right? It's a secret that they can't hold on to for much longer. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there is a super secret set photo somewhere with Robert Downey Jr. on set for Fantastic Four. You know, We've already seen the Thing leak on set, so that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what those lines are coming up here pretty soon. Moving on to Doctor Strange 3. This is a movie I'm excited for because there's a lot of potential to tie into my comic book series I really liked, Avengers: Time Runs Out, which led into the 2015 Secret Wars. But the movie for Doctor Strange 3, rumors is that it will likely release before Doomsday or Secret Wars. It'll be one or the other. We don't know which one. It could pull like an Ant-Man and the Wasp, where like it was technically before Infinity War, but the post-credit scene tied it into Infinity War, right? Remember that? So it could be one of those situations where it's in the middle and kind of pull some more details together on how, you know, Secret Wars will kick off and what that'll look like with the characters. The movie will also cover the role he plays in the multiverse saga. Clea's part is still undecided. She could either be a Black Swan helping Doom, which is from the comic books, or a Black Priest who recruit Doctor Strange to help them defeat Doom as well, which are from the comic books. I love the Black Swans, and I love the Black Priest from that run. If I could literally recommend any comic book run, anybody's Jonathan Hickman's Avengers and New Avengers run from 2013 through Secret Wars. All the stuff that we're seeing in the movies now is in there. It'll be obviously distilled down into these films, but the lore, the universe, multiverse building is fantastic, and we'll explain some of that. So to me, that's pretty exciting. I would love to know, obviously, what he's playing in the multiverse saga. It does feel like Clea, who is played by Furiosa herself.
I keep wanting to say Katherine Heigl, but I know it's not Katherine Heigl.
No, people are screaming at us. I'm going to get text tomorrow of this name. But we're going to get, you know, she kind of felt shoehorned into the post-credit scene a little bit, and I know that's under the Bob Chapek era.
Well, also like the costuming and the wigs and the eyeball everything felt shoehorned in on that. I don't know how that day went. I don't know what the post-production schedule for that scene was, but no, I get it.
And I don't even think, Charlize Theron, there it is. People don't have to message me. It's Charlize Theron. That, they've had that written down, but like even her role didn't leak online before the movie came out, which is interesting, right? Like that's a close secret if it's not leaking anywhere, or at least rumored. So I'm excited to see kind of what they've done and which way they're going to go with her. Historically, she's been the daughter, I believe, of the villain from the first Doctor Strange, Dormammu. So they may obviously adjust her a little bit to fit the bigger story. That would be fine along the way. We will also likely get the chance to see Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom together, played by Robert Downey Jr. A reunion of these two actors playing together, and that the rumors Doom will be targeting Strange in his role for the multiverse is crashing, right? From Doctor Strange to the Multiverse of Madness, which was previously written for Kang. So Kang would have been hunting Strange, so instead of Doom. So it sounds like they're adapting that pretty quickly along the way. In the comic book Secret Wars, this is not a spoiler by any means, but on Battleworld in Secret Wars, Doctor Doom has Doctor Strange essentially be the sheriff of Battleworld, like his right-hand man, if you will. So I would love to see them work together. Like Strange is like, this is the only way we'll all survive is if we, use Doom's power to stay here. He's got the right type of magic, I guess. And there's a lot of I love the dynamic between Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, and I would love to see it in a film. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Wiser words have never been said on this show. I'll tell you that, guys, right now. But obviously, again, seeing Benedict and Robert Downey Jr. would be fantastic on set. So we'll tell you more of Doctor Strange 3 whenever it eventually gets announced. Spider-Man, Tom Holland is out here causing rumors because he's on a secret shoot day photo that he shared on Instagram. And first things first, Mike, where's Tom Holland from? Where does he hail from? England, right?
He's from across the pond, mate.
Yes. Hello, governor. Then I looked at the outlets on the wall. Are those English or not? Is he in America or is he in England?
Well, he's got a Voss water, so I gotta assume that the Brits have more sense of mind than to pay for overpriced water. Yeah. But yeah, those look like a traditional American outlets.
Well, that's the first time I'm like, okay, where's he plugging in? Is he in Pinewood or is he in America? So obviously those are American outlets. So I was like, okay, so he's probably in Los Angeles, right? I think someone said recently he had like a meeting there in Los Angeles. So if he's doing a shoot here in LA, a couple things crossed my mind. Number one, is it in credit for an upcoming Marvel movie? And I was trying to think of what movies there would be. The only one I could think of that would be in, maybe not, Captain America: Brave New World and Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts seem to be in New York. Brave New World, Tom Holland and Spider-Man went to the Washington Monument in that film. So he could be doing some of those. Is he doing a post-credit scene for Beyond the Spider-Verse, the third Spider-Verse movie, right? They send a film those live action scenes.
What's really surprising is if I told you, I mean, this is probably not surprise, Tom Holland is in the top 100 for the IMDb Pro Star Meter. Not surprised at all. He is one of the most popular actors right now. Mm-hmm. And I was surprised when I went to his IMDb. He only has one upcoming project. The last thing he did was a TV miniseries that was last year. And he only has one upcoming project, and it's an untitled Spider-Man sequel. So I'm just shocked that it does not have anything else going on. For a while he had those like little movies like The Devil All the Time and Cherry, and he was out there like doing little things. He did Uncharted as well. So I'm just surprised, like, is this strategic, or maybe a lot of the stuff he's working on is still secret? But he seems to be like kind of all in on Spider-Man. So yeah, I was thinking like, oh, I'll check his IMDb. Maybe that'll give you a hint. But yeah, if we just look at his upcoming projects that the internet's telling us, yeah, it's probably something Spider-Man related.
Yeah, I'm just looking real fast in here. I'm like, okay, yeah, Chaos Walking. Is that the one where the Daisy Ridley can hear their thoughts of like men or something like that?
I don't know.
I think so.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch either. Well, I'm looking at the ratings.
The only other thing Okay. The only other thing it could be is, I mean, he is with Zendaya, and I think there's more Euphoria coming out soon. He could be doing like an actual cameo in Euphoria, and
Yeah,
then, you know,
I think it's in
the
Georgia
internet would
though.
go crazy.
Um,
He can get on a flight.
yeah, obviously. So yeah, but I was looking at the reads like Chaos Walking 5.7, Cherry 6.6, Doolittle the voice 5.6. Yeah, Onward was I enjoyed him in Onward, but a lot of the Spider-Man stuff. But yeah, obviously dating Zendaya takes up most of your time, probably I would guess. But see if he's doing a secret shoot day, some people are like, is it Venom? I'm like, Venom's too far along to me, right? It's not like Venom. This comes out I think next month. Craven, they're probably not going to add him to Craven because they do not want to bring down Spider-Man by putting him on that movie, and obviously they're not filming Spider-Man 4. So if we're assuming it's Marvel, it could be a photo shoot. Like this could be some sort of like they're announcing a new movie, and he hasn't been announced to be on a new movie yet because they're going to do a photo shoot with the announcement of a new movie. You're right. So could be a bunch of different things, but it's fun to theorize that he would be. Maybe at the end of Thunderbolts at Avengers Tower, like it's in New York. He's in New York. He shows up somehow, and it's a little cameo at the end of it, right?
Yeah, that could be fun. I don't hate that idea.
And it's probably not Fantastic Four. What's the Are there any TV series filming for Marvel right now?
I mean, it could theoretically be Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Well, I'm thinking of anything else that could be happening like in the New York area. I don't know.
Yeah. So. Oh, either way, it's fun to think about Tom Holland. We've not seen him in a while. Obviously, did a great job with Spider-Man. He's bringing in those Marvel dollars, a couple $1 billion movies. He doesn't need to work if he doesn't want to. So, good for him. Moving on to Venom: The Last Dance. Mike, I knew the second I saw this artwork for Venom: The Last Dance, this was gonna be right up your alley. I saw it. And I'm like, I thought of you immediately because the new. Promotional artwork for the upcoming movie has teased that there are other venomized animals other than just the horse that we saw in the original trailer. And I've included the links to a venomized frog and a venomized fish, as well as the venomized horse, in case you wanted to see what the concept art looked like. And I have a mental journey of how this happens in the movie. Like I feel like I pinpointed how this happens in the trailer.
Lay it on us.
Well, in the trailer we see Eddie Brock in a river being tased by those other Black Ops team right underwater.
Mm-hmm.
They tase him because obviously Venom doesn't, I think, like electricity or something like that. So Venom has jumped off of Eddie out of survival instinct and latched onto a nearby fish. And then he's probably taken from the fish down. He can't get on land. He jumps to the frog. He's on the frog. He finds Eddie, bonds with Eddie. They're out in the middle of nowhere. They need to get back to wherever things are going to happen. So Eddie's like, can you bond with this horse and will you kill it? I don't know. Let's go that way. So my journey is fish to frog to horse in this movie. That's the logical format. But I want to hear Mike's theory because I know you've got something that's more off the wall probably than this.
I mean, you said at the top, it's a we bought a zoo situation. That would be funny. You show these like fish and frog at the maybe top of the movie, and then in the third act they're in a zoo and every animal's getting venomized. Sure, might as well. Like it would make a crazy TV spot to get people to the theater to watch this last Venom movie. Like you gotta, like I was saying, you gotta rely on gimmicks for this, at least for me. Like I'm not invested in the story. I don't care about the characters. I think technically Eddie Brock has like a love interest in this world. I could care less if he finds love. I guess you could say he found love with Venom, their bromance or whatever. I just don't care. So you got to give me something at least visually like candy. So just throwing more animals into the mix. Sure, why not?
These seem to be, the horse is the tame, but the other two are wild animals. What if you could pick another animal? Maybe your favorite animal. I know. What would you venomize? Like if you were like, oh man, I really hope they venomize like a giraffe or something off the wall.
Giraffe would be funny. I mean, I'm a maximalist. I'm just thinking the largest animal. Put it on an elephant, and it's got crazy. Like man, the tusk would be probably like a big like lance. It would just be like chopping people in half. I'm down with that.
I've got a rhino in my head, but I know that the Craven already has the rhino as a villain, and it already looks worse than Venom. But
You're gonna confuse audiences, Chris. You can't go rhino.
Okay, so let's go back into what American creature, like a bear, like a black bear, like a big bear.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
We're getting into to Fat Bear Winter soon,
House
right?
cat. House cat.
I thought about House Cat. No, they're already God's perfect killing machine. We don't need Venom on on a House Cat. Now, are we about back to Fat Bear Winter, Mike? Is that coming up? I know it's a big thing in your house.
Yeah, I'll have to ask my wife, but I think so.
Okay, because I always think about that whenever I see bear photos. I'm like, are we getting close to Bear Winter? But yeah, I'd be interested to see some of the stuff with Venom. Like I said, it seems to be, with this, they are going all out. They are just doing things that they can do with the Venom stuff. As long as at the end of the day, it's not one black goo creature fighting another black goo creature, I will be absolutely A-okay to see that. I will say, for comic book readers, there's a new series called Avengers versus Aliens from like the Aliens universe, like the movie Aliens. And the symbiote does, being an alien, does make an appearance in the issue 1 of that comic book. So I highly recommend someone find it, take a read on it. I think it's worth the read as well. Lastly, last bit of news here to end up the show: Joker Folie Deux is I think it debuted at the Venice Film Festival. So reviews are coming out, official reviews everywhere. Spoilers as well. So if you don't want to be spoiled by any Joker 2 plot points or beats, stay off the internet, put up your keywords. I don't know if this is something people can be spoiled about or not, but as of today, I did check it out. I wanted to see if Rotten Tomatoes threw their new review system in place, and apparently they have, with enough 44 reviews, and it's currently seen at 61%. Mike, I know the first one wasn't a critical darling either, but like I thought, knowing that we just talked about the Rotten Tomato change, I wanted to see where this movie's set at, right, with that kind of coming out. Does it surprise you being at that? I mean, are you surprised reviews are out with this movie coming out like not for like a month? Like where are you at?
Yeah, I mean, if we're truly thinking like this is the film festival audience, I could maybe see them not overly vibing with this movie. It's like a superhero big budget Hollywood studio film, not usually the most welcome thing at films at film festivals, but yeah, I don't know. Like the first movie was polarizing in both audiences, right? You had the super comic booky fans that are just like, oh, this isn't my Joker. Where's Batman? Then you have the film auteurs that are just like, oh, this is just a ripoff of what was it, Taxi or Raging Bull? I don't remember which one it was supposed to be. Any
Scorsese film, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just kind of like, who is this pleasing? I mean, we both liked it. I mean. Yeah. I haven't gone back and revisited it, and I have the excuse of having a child, a newborn in the house, but I don't think I'm going to be going out of my way to the theaters to check this one out. This really feels like a HBO Max, at home type of watch to me, which is probably not going to be great for replicating that, first box office that came around for the first film. Well, so yeah.
I don't think anyone expected a sequel either. I don't think it'll break $1 billion. It comes out October 4th. I've hardly seen any trailers or TV spots yet. The first movie does sit at 69% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way. So to be 61%, so, really, it's on par, right, for that.
Yeah, so there could be consistency there. Once it kind of exits the film critic, or I guess film festival world, maybe it goes up a couple notches, and maybe it's right around the first one as well.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to talk about anything about the reviews or anything here. I was just, wanted to see like, hey, Rotten Tomatoes says if the film's expected to bank X amount, we need X number of reviews before we post it. There are no audience reviews. The popcorn meter is not out because this movie is not out yet. So they are sticking to that pretty good. And pretty well along the way. And it was a Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice came out this weekend as well. People are flocking to that, the spooky season, if you will, for some of the stuff. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go to the theaters to watch this. I don't, the first one's good, but like I don't revisit it because like I don't need to be sucked out, like all the wind sucked out of my sails, right? Kind of thing. I'm like, oh, this is not a fun movie to watch.
Well, the first one was original in a way of like, what a crazy way to approach comic book IP. Right? And this kind of like prestigious angle with Joaquin Phoenix and playing this super grounded, gritty origin of this character. We've never quite seen anything like it before. So a sequel to it, it's just like, well, your only kind of engaging component now is that, oh, you're making it a musical. Like this is not new to people, to audiences anymore. This
And
is
they're
something
hiding
we've
that
been
very
to.
well in the trailers too. Like they are not telling people it's a musical, kind of along the way. And it's been 5 years. I'm looking up. It will be exactly 5 years, to the day when this movie comes out in theaters from the first one. Like, not saying look at Avatar 2. That doesn't mean anything, but I'm interested to see if this movie has grown or done anything.
It'll still be a success.
Yeah.
Financially for Warner Brothers, right? I'm sure the budget is more than the first one, but probably not by a whole lot.
No, it did. The budget blew up quite a bit for this one.
I didn't know that.
It's I think it's like 300 million. I think to make this one.
Whoa. Okay. Maybe not, because I thought the first one was a kind of a relatively like low budget for a comic book flick, and then I don't know.
back in February, the budget was 200 million, and that was before. That's before advertising. Never mind. Yeah. Because the first one was
Start sweating, everybody.
Yeah, because the first one was 60 million, right? That's what you said. It was a lower budget, kind of like no one wants us to make this, so we have to do it cheap. Like just like how Deadpool 1 did, right? We did on the cheap. But yeah, this one is gonna be up there in that. So we'll see how that pays out. We will come back next month. I also had the harsh realization earlier today that we are in the same month for Agatha All Along. We're less than 2 weeks away.
I think 10 days away or something
10 days
like
away,
that.
Yeah, I had that realization. I'm like, oh my god, we're already a week into September. So, gonna get ready for, like I said, Halloween season. I had my wife send me her family friendly Halloween movies. We're gonna have people over to watch movies, come and go as you please kind of thing event. And I was like, send me Halloween movies that people would come in and watch. We don't need to be watching actually Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street, stuff like that. She sent me Nightmare Before Christmas, Hocus Pocus, Corpse Bride, Ghostbusters, Sleepy Hollow, and Beetlejuice. Mike, do you have anything you want to add to that list before?
I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Okay. I don't know of any funny Halloween. Oh, Ernest Saves Halloween. Or Ernest Scared Stupid. Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh, you could do like a Paranorman. I feel like that's solid.
Yeah, we can take a look at that. See what that's in there. As well. But yeah, anyway, if anyone else has any lists, ideas for family-friendly Halloween movies, send them my way. But Mike, if people want to know what you're doing, what you're up to, where can they find you at?
Yeah, they can read my webcomics at liferewardsrisk.com and pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, see what you're 3D printing,
where
can they find you?
I'm now a 3D printer. You can find me on Instagram, Valdan87, VALDAN87, or Video Game Systems with the same name. If people want to know more about the show, what we're doing, where can they catch up to us at?
Oh, as always, all you have to do is visit superheroslate.com. That's the best place to find our awesome show notes. If you want to check out any of the links that we talked about on the episode this week, you can find us on Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Podbean directly, if that's something that anybody ever engages with directly, apparently. You can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. Let us know what you're excited about this spooky, cozy season. Hopefully, Chris and I will be playing the 10 out of 10 Astrobot at some point in time this year. We'll come back on the show and talk about it. But I hear that game is crazy cozy. But we love our super fans. If you want to be a super fan of the show, it's so easy to do. Just share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we'll be here every week, folks.
That's right. And we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.